Andy Burnham comes with a very clear record of delivery in Greater Manchester, where power has been devolved above and beyond some other areas of Britain, and it's been a success. We've seen growth there, we've seen improvement in people's prospects, a better public transport network, and so we know that he can deliver. And we also know that he sees that delivery through mayors, through regions, devolving power works. It gets things done, and it gets things done quicker. So I think this is a really, really positive move.
Now let's get a view from away from London in all of this. An elected mayor, Kim McGuinness, is on the line, the mayor of the North East. Hello to you, Kim.
Hello, John.
Hi, are you in a good mood? I mean, we're told that it's a lot to do with mayors in the future, which is, I suppose, very good from your point of view.
Well, I think it's very good for the point of view of people who don't live in London and for whom Westminster politics hasn't worked. You know, it's really time for, I think, the North to thrive. I represent the furthest English region away from Westminster, and you've been able to feel that. So handing more power to the regions, more decision-making locally, so people feel like they've got more control over their own future, I think is a really positive thing. So, yeah, I'm in a really good mood today.
Right. I mean, tell me why it's a good idea to appoint a mayor as former mayor as Prime Minister, King. I mean, not for a moment to disparage the duties of an elected mayor, but it bears no relation to leading a government at a time of national and economic and global stress, does it?
Well, I mean, I think it's an interesting question, because the difference between mayors and, for example, MPs who perhaps haven't served in a cabinet or haven't been in government is that there's a delivery record. Andy Burnham comes with a very clear record of delivery in Greater Manchester, where power has been devolved above and beyond some other areas of Britain, and it's been a success. We've seen growth there, we've seen improvement in people's prospects, a better public transport network, and so we know that he can deliver. And we also know that he sees that delivery through mayors, through regions, devolving power works. It gets things done, and it gets things done quicker. So I think this is a really, really positive move.
OK. Is it fair to say that the elected mayors, who are going to be a big part of the picture in the future, they're going to be competing to spend public money?
Competing with each other?
Indeed.
Well, I don't think so. I think the point of devolution is that different areas have to do things in different ways. Different areas have different needs, and different areas will want different powers. And that is the point of devolution. But what we've seen so far is a toe dipped in the water of devolved funding. I think now having the opportunity to talk in more depth about things like fiscal devolution, about making sure that we're taking control, for example, of something like tackling the NEET crisis with the devolution of post-16 skills and apprenticeships and youth services, or taking control of the housing crisis with more retrofit devolution, things like that, the ability to build more houses. You know, there's a real opportunity now for us to accelerate in all parts of the country and to change the picture of Britain, which has always been that London grows and London fuels our whole economy, equalise it, make it better for everyone. And also, you know, it is a story of a thriving Britain if we can get that working.
Yeah, but this isn't creating money. I mean, this devolution, you'd argue, is a good way of allocating money and spending it locally, where the local leaders know more than does Whitehall about what's needed. I hear those arguments, but it's not going to create more money, is it? And when it comes to housing, for example, look, there's no chance of hitting the government's £1.5 million house building target in this Parliament. How will this change that? The problems of not enough houses have been there for years, and devolution won't necessarily change that, will it?
I think two things. So first of all, this is not just about targets, it's about, you know, people's lives. It's about improving people's lives and getting those better outcomes.
And building more houses.
It is imperative. It's imperative that we build more houses. And the system's too slow. The planning system's too slow. The system of funding's too complicated. Decomplicating it and handing it over to local areas will get things moving quicker. And I would counter the argument that it doesn't mean more money, because what we haven't seen is growth in all parts of the country.
Yeah.
What we have seen where devolution has worked is growth in Manchester. We've had governments, successive governments, who've said that growth is the answer. And for me, if we really want to get growth in all parts of the country, handing powers over to mayors so that we can do more to tackle those major problems on the ground, and to do things quicker will mean more money into the system.
Yeah,
and I think that can only be a positive thing. The fact of the matter is that doing things we've always done the way we've always done them, it hasn't worked. It isn't working. And people have sent that message very loud and clear. And now we've got a Prime Minister who really wants to change the way the country is governed. And I think that's great for people in the regions, people away from London and away from Westminster.
Yeah, well, no one anywhere is going to argue against growth and higher productivity, but delivering it is hard, and it's impossible to deliver quickly. And when it comes to housing, well, the problems there are planning blockages. It's shortages of the right, well-trained workers. It is the shortage and the cost of raw materials. I mean, you having control of housing in your area, Kim, it's not going to change any of those things.
I think it will, actually, particularly if you look at it as a wider picture, for example, of devolving more skills funding so that we're able to make more localised decisions about the workforce we need. That will boost the construction workforce and get, unemployed young lads and lasses who are stuck without education, work or training into these professions where there is a necessity. On top of that, the ability for us to make quicker planning decisions, to deploy funding into housing quicker at a local level at sites that we know are ready to go, rather than a centralised system where somebody in Westminster is making those decisions. It just is common sense. And of course it will be quicker. The blockages in the system are down to an over-centralised country where everything is the same everywhere. And it can't be like that anymore. We need to be making sure that the money and the power and the investment flows into the places that need it the most.
Right.
And those local decisions are overseen by local people.
Great to talk to you, Kim. Thank you. Let's talk again soon.